All right, the spoilers are in. It is your boy Ghost, and we are here with some more content for you. We're going to go through the mythics and the rares here today. Got a couple big bombs in. We have some that are spilling over from the weekend into this Monday. All right, I'm going to get things set up here. You guys will go ahead and go down there and give that subscribe button a little clickety-do for me, and we will jump into these spoilers. First rare of the day is Gargos, Vicious Watcher. 3 green, 3 colorless, get you an 8/7 Hydra with Vigilance. Hydra spells you cast cost 4 less to cast. Okay, whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, Gargos Vicious Watcher fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. That seems not too bad. I mean, he is a beast for 6. If you're running Hydra Tribal, they all come in really cheap. And yes, you could use that for your X cost, so it's not horrible. I guarantee you, they'll be looking into some of these rares that people may pull in sealed, limited. Holy smokes, there are going to be some bombs. Just some bombs with all the elemental knights, and I mean, just even this unlimited, you pull this, and there's another Hydra too in there. So man, if you had them both, watch out, watch out. We got brought back 2 planes, get you an instant. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards. That's right. They kill a planeswalker. Bam. Bring him back for 2. Kill a creature and a planeswalker. Sure. Put him back on the field. This card, I have a feeling, honestly, that this card could end up being pretty crazy. There's always stuff that's getting killed. So, tons of stuff's going into your graveyard. I mean, let's talk about this card. Talk about it down in the comments below, because I think this card has got some serious potential. Maybe not totally as a 4 of in a deck, but I mean, this is a decent bomb. All right, and we have our counterspell, or rare counterspell. Now, this isn't disallow. It's completely different, but it does only cost 2. 1 blue, 1 colorless, gets you an instant. Counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or legendary spell. This is definitely a go into sideboard for sure. I mean, if they're playing a bunch of planeswalkers like they are right now, this is crazy good. Really good. So I like this a lot. And you get a target, a triggered ability or an activated ability, either one. All right, we have Mystic Forge. It's an artifact, 4 colorless, and it says, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. We know that's powerful. We know that's good. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an artifact card or a colorless non-land card. Then you can tap it, pay 1 life, and exile the top card of your library. Whew. Man, there's so many situations this could be good. I mean, I guess in standard we got the Bolas Citadel. So, you could get cards out of your way if that was really what you were going for. I don't know how crazy this is in standard right now, but I feel like this could be good in other formats. It seems like it's got a lot going on for it. The fact that you can filter through your deck is great. And you're only paying a life to get rid of the top card of your library. And you know what the next one is. You do have to tap it, so you can only do it once. But, you could do it on there in step and then once before you draw. So you could make sure you're getting the cards you need. So not too bad, not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. And we got the blue Elemental Knight. 3 blue, 2 colorless, get you Cavalier of Gales. A 5/5 flying. When Cavalier of Gales enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. When Cavalier of Gales dies, shuffle it into its owner's library, then scry 2. So this thing always goes back into the deck. And when it comes down, you can see 3 cards, stack them on top however you want. That's plenty good, especially as a 5/5, 4/5 flyer. This seems good. All the nights have been crazy good, but this one as well is good too. All right, and this one came out and I actually put it in the Planeswalker video, but we're going to talk about it right now. We have Keithis, the Hidden Hand, and I felt like this card was just good in so many formats probably. I mean, definitely EDH. I think for the next 3 months, this is going to be good in standard because we have so much legendary. I think someone could easily put together a decent legendary deck, but the reason why we're talking about legendaries is because of its abilities, and we'll go into that. So, Keithis, the Hidden Hand, 1 green, 1 black, 1 white, gets you a 3/4 legendary creature, Elf Advisor. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until end of turn. Each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. I mean, what? That's crazy good. I mean, that's definitely good in Commander, I gotta say for sure, because there's a lot of ways to start getting stuff in your graveyard in Standard in green and black. And there is endless amounts of ways to do it in older formats. So I like this card. And Vivien Arcbow Ranger was spoiled too over the weekend. 3 green, 1 colorless. Gets you a legendary Planeswalker Vivien with 4 loyalty. And her abilities are +1, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. They gain trample until end of turn, so she's going to be making your creatures bigger, which is always good in this color. It's -3 is target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. So she's got a good way to protect herself so you can start clearing out the board with your big creatures out there. It's -5 is you may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Now, in a more competitive stance, this is essentially a card in your sideboard that you could just go grab whatever creature you want, which this does tend to be handy coming in at 4 because you can't always cast some of these bigger creatures, so being able to have her to go access an additional 15 cards is really good. And you want to know where else this is really good at? Best of 1, because it gives you access to 15 more cards. That makes that crazy powerful. So if you're a big best of 1 player in the arena, this card could literally give you access to 15 more creatures, which is really good. I see some of the decks running around that are using Karn to be able to go back and get an artifact. Well, that seems to work out pretty good for them. I think this would work out really well in the best of 1. All right, next up, we have another dragon released here. This one's quite a bit expensive, but it has got some power. So this is Drakuseth, Maw of Flames. 3 red, 4 colorless. That's right, it does cost 7. But it is a 7/7 flyer. And it says whenever Maw of Flames attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. This thing's a bomb. I mean, this is another one of those cards that like could just be a crazy big bomb and limited if they can't deal with it. This thing comes down, sweeps up the rest of the creatures that are out, and wins you the game. I don't know that this will go into standard a whole lot, but then again, Glorybringer was tearing up standard, and he had similar ability, and he stayed tapped down. You just do this every turn. So it can come down and deal some serious damage. Now, you're not going to be able to just go in there and zap your opponent for 10 because the second part of the text says each of up to 2 other targets. Then we have Thunderkin Awakener, an elemental shaman that costs 1 red, 1 colorless for a 1/2 with haste. When Thunderkin Awakener attacks, choose target elemental creature card in your graveyard with toughness less than Thunderkin Awakener's toughness. Return that card to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next insup. So they do sacrifice, but you could pump him up and keep. It is toughness, so whatever it is, it has to be toughness less. So there's definitely cards that are going to be like 3/1 or something like that. So this doesn't seem too bad. There's probably a lot of crazy stuff this card can do, but I don't know. It is just elementals, and I think elementals are a pretty serious thing. I don't know with all the other sets being in how strong they'll be like right now, but after rotation, we don't know because we don't know what's going to be in the other set. Elementals could just blow up. And the final card of the day is by far my favorite because it has just a really neat way for its power and toughness. Embodiment of Agonies. 2 black, 1 colorless. Get you a 0/0 demon with flying and death touch. And this demon enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. Let's just read that one more time to you. Enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. These are counters. They can't exile everything out of your graveyard and this guy just dies. This guy comes in and stays with what he has. Now you can't make him bigger, but the safety net is huge because they could just be like, okay, we're just going to exile all this stuff, making this card probably a lot less playable. But it also says, for example, it's giving you an example. So like 2 colorless and 1 black and 1 colorless and 2 black is different. And there are cards currently in standard that could easily, like maxed out, maybe 9, if everything works out perfectly. Highly doubt it, but I see no reason why this guy does not come out at, as a 4/4 at least. 3/3 for sure if you can get him on curve, but I honestly think that this guy coming out even later, this guy's going to be huge for 3. But turn 3, there is potential. He could come down and be a 9/9. Now, that would be everything working out perfect, but it's not crazy. Let me show you. So you have turn 1, Stitcher Supplier. Throw 3 cards in your graveyard. Turn 2, you attack with him. Maybe they block, maybe they don't. Maybe you keep it up for a blocker next turn. I don't know. But either way, turn 2, you have Glow Spore Shaman. So this comes in, that's another 3 cards in your graveyard. Then, this guy has to die in order for you to be able to get the 9 cards in your graveyard. But, man, how crazy would that be? So that alone could be 9 cards in your graveyard. And you got to figure, that's going to be at least a 4/4 or 5/5 demon. And flying and death touch. So, it puts the clock on. And it puts the clock down fast. So, I think this is just a blast. And I am a huge fan of graveyard interaction. So I am excited about that. Was like my favorite one. That's why I saved it for last. I was like, I gotta save this one for last so I could pull it up in arena and show off Glow Spore Shaman and Stitcher Supplier. So by far my favorite card of the day. That being said, that is the end of the spoilers for today. We're going to be checking and looking out for more spoilers tomorrow. I'm sure that we'll probably be wrapped up this week here and we will have the full set released and everybody will be preparing for the pre-release events coming up here in like 13 days or something like that, and it'll be out on Arena. Also, don't forget, whenever this set is fully released, we are switching to the London Mulligans, so you got to keep that in mind. They've been testing it out, so things in Magic are going to change, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any of the content as we talk about some of these changes coming to standard and doing some gameplay and going over how it affects it. Alright, so that is going to end this video. I will see you guys next time. Take care.